thank you for being here, Mr. Knox. Before I ask a couple of questions, I want to set a couple of things straight, because prior to coming to Congress, I spent nearly 10 years as a coal mining regulator in North Dakota, and I know a fair bit about the stream buffer zone rule and its history. And a couple of things that some of my colleagues said earlier bother me, and I want to straighten a couple of them out. First of all, not getting to a predetermined preferred answer does not constitute incompetence by a contractor. One of my colleagues claimed that we should be trying to get at a good rule to protect streams. Another one of my colleagues suggested that we shouldn't be allowing, or that it shouldn't be okay to dump mine waste into streams. And that's what we should be focused on. And I agree that we should be focused on those things, except that there are good rules that already protect streams. I don't remember any time in my 10 years as a coal mining regulator that dumping mining waste into a stream was okay. Do you know that if that was approved under the 1983 rule or the 2008 rule, which, by the way, the 2008 rule is stricter than the 83 stream buffer zone rule? Do you know?
Congressman, it's out of my area of expertise.
Sure. Well, it's well within mine, and I can assure you that it was never okay, and it's not okay under the 83 or the 2008 rule to dump mining waste. I want to follow up a little bit on the ranking member and then my friend from Montana's line here of questioning regarding the constricted time frame for the EIS. In your investigation, did you ever examine how the primary contractor was chosen? Because there seems to be a lot of angst aimed at the contractor, and yet that contractor was chosen, I assume, by OSM through some process. Did you look into that at all?
We did look at some of that. They are designated a 8A contractor, a small disadvantaged business concern, and they were selected through a limited competition that was held between a handful of 8A companies that were deemed eligible to compete for this work, and they were found to be the preferred technical choice.
Now, isn't it true that it was the contractor that really insisted that they needed to hold full scoping sessions in order to comply with the NEPA requirements, and it was really the OSM staff that wanted to, sort of cut the corners, if you will? Is that accurate, that it was in fact the contractor who wanted to extend the process to meet NEPA, and it was the OSM staff that wanted to confine it?
Congressman, the contractor certainly wanted to pursue the public hearings, but also there was, I believe, our contracting officer representative who was there for a large reason because of their experience in NEPA felt the same way.
Then I just, thank you. I want to pursue just one other, or at least one other line of questioning here that I think Mr. Tipton was on earlier, relating to OSM's Director's Counsel, Diane Shawley, and some of her, what I consider to be pretty disturbing statements, especially related to, quote, the agency was engaged in what was, quote, not the real world. This is rulemaking. Sort of something that bureaucrats get accused of a lot, and some people think, well, certainly they're not that insensitive to what's really happening in the world, that the world's not really that theoretical, and yet it sounds to me like she believes it is. Does this seem cavalier to you for somebody in a position like that to be overseeing $1 billion rulemaking that's going to impact, thousands of American jobs, whether it's 7,000 or some other number? I mean, doesn't that seem a bit cavalier for counsel to make?
Congressman, I don't have an opinion about what meaning she meant when she used those words. What I would say is that our investigation found that the decision by OSM to use the 2008 rule was based on their belief that since it was the rule of law, it was the appropriate rule to use at the time.
Since I have just under a minute, I want to then pursue the issue of OSM employees were in fact embedded in the teams, as I understand, according to the contractor anyway. They were well embedded into the various working teams that worked on the EIS and the RIA, that in fact they provided many of the written materials that showed up in the EIS and various chapters of the EIS, which then, of course, they later criticized. But am I wrong in that? Because I don't see any of that reflected in your report, and yet I understand from the contractors that was in fact the case.
Our investigation, of course, was looking at the 2 points of was there undue political influence, improper influence, and was the contractor treated unfairly with the end of their contract. we didn't look at this issue you raised.
All right, my time's expired, thank you.